The sun peeked out from behind the slag heaps, illuminating piles of Russian corpses scattered across the ancestral historic lands, while 10,000 North Korean soldiers were already lined up for a Lada Priora, or more precisely, for a bowl of rice, which they might receive if they die beautifully for Yoon and Pinya.
Only the beginning something new.
There they go, they're running.
Judging by the growing concern and visible anxiety of the brave Western leaders, it appears that the North Korean mobilized conscripts have already arrived at the front line. How else can you possibly explain President Biden's increasingly belligerent statements in which he claims that he doesn't mind if the Ukrainian army destroys Korean occupiers should they attack?
Oh, well done!
As they often say in Ukraine, thank you, I'm absolutely jumping for joy. Seriously, thanks so much for the permission.
You really know how to do it. You just can't.
4 million artillery shells a year, the supply of ballistic missiles, the exchange of nuclear technologies apparently. That's still not enough reason to allow Ukraine to strike back at Russia. But the North Korean invasion is a red rag. The White House has stated that they might give the green light to use weapons, but you'll only be allowed to shoot at the Koreans. Just make sure nothing hits Russia, otherwise that would be some kind of escalation. What if Russia declares war and attacks Ukraine? And God forbid, they might start supporting terrorist regimes in the Middle East, sell enriched uranium to Iran, and form a military alliance with North Korea.
Ironic?
Has all of this really already happened? How awkward. We suggest that Western leaders soak their concern in alcohol to make it stronger.
I simply can't speculate. After all, at this moment, it still needs to be clarified what exactly North Korean troops are doing in Russia.
In Ukraine, they didn't wait for a blessing to defend themselves against the invaders and have already taken action. For the North Korean conquerors, cozy POW camps have been prepared where for the first time they will see 3 meals a day, a hot shower, and a television with more than one channel.
For many North Korean soldiers, this will be the very first time in their lives that they experience such challenging and unfamiliar conditions. And as a result, they are likely to be quite surprised and possibly even shocked when they finally arrive.
Ukrainians are very hospitable, surrender peacefully. But if someone comes to us with their own kimchi, that kimchi will perish. We also know how to ferment cabbage here and how to chop some people into cabbage too.
Today is a very important and special day for all of us. We are preparing to make kimjang together as a group. Kimjang is the Korean tradition of preparing kimchi for the year.
The only country besides Ukraine that responded seriously to North Korea entering the war was South Korea. Their reaction was both swift and quite promising. We certainly have the right not to supply weapons, but in this particular sense, we should perhaps be somewhat more flexible regarding military actions. Throughout all this time, South Korea has consistently maintained its position of neutrality. It did not supply any weapons or ammunition to Ukraine at any point. But the trick with North Korea changed everything. The involvement of Seoul's main enemy in the war is a huge danger, because North Korean soldiers are gaining combat experience and learning to use Russian weapons, which could be used in the future against civilized Korea.
Putin is testing the reaction of the West. Putin is testing the reaction of NATO countries. Putin is also testing the reaction of South Korea. I believe that after seeing all these reactions, Putin will start increasing the contingent. Contents, Saturday, Wind, Jackson. Today, he's like a sapper in a minefield. He's checking what will happen if this contingent is used.
So, I have a feeling that we shouldn't lose our minds over this. It's in Seoul's interest that not a single North Korean soldier makes it back home.
He vanished right before our eyes.
And the military potential of South Korea is enormous. It's the 5th largest army in the world. And unlike North Korea, its high-tech could even say the most technologically advanced. And the South also has millions of artillery shells just lying around. And they're of good quality, because they're produced in modern factories by well-fed, free people. As for the quality of North Korean ammunition, Russian Z military correspondents are already making up legends about it.
New footage has emerged, showing what North Korean artillery shells do to Russian D-30 howitzers. After such an encounter with shells from the DPRK, the barrels of Russian howitzers were simply blown off. There are similar problems with all shells from North Korea, both the 150 tum and the 120 tum calibers.
You can clearly see South Korea's impressive technological advancement, at least in the fact that they are gradually phasing out their 60mm and 80mm mortars and are fully transitioning their army to using FPV drones. In other words, these guys are keeping up with the latest trends and fashions in the art of destroying aggressors. So what would happen if South Korea became a military ally of Ukraine? How would that strengthen us and weaken Russia? Just a few interesting facts. South Korea's military-industrial complex is one of the most advanced and powerful in the world, offering a wide range of high-tech solutions.
This is not really the same thing at all. Not in any way.
Let's count on our fingers. South Korea uses modernized Soviet T-80 tanks. This means transferring them to Ukraine wouldn't pose any problems in terms of additional training or operation. Plus, South Korea produces its own K-2 tanks, which are based on the Abrams, and Ukrainians have already been trained to operate those as well. South Korea is the largest producer of self-propelled artillery systems, such as the 9 Thunder and K-55. The 9 is one of the most advanced self-propelled howitzers in the world, capable of firing with high accuracy and speed. It uses both standard 155mm ammunition and modern rocket-assisted projectiles. Seoul also has the latest multiple launch rocket systems, the K-200 and 39 Chunmoo. They are compatible with HIMARS munitions. And most likely, the South Korean authorities won't object to their version of ATAC-MES being used in the swamps.
Wait, is that even allowed?
There is, however, a small difference compared to the American ATACMS. The Korean missiles have a longer range up to 800 kilometers. They can even reach places where, according to Lloyd Austin, the Russians have already relocated their combat aircraft. We know exactly how you all behave.
We know the burden Ukraine bears. We know it, and you should know that all of us support you. And that is exactly why we have gathered here today to strengthen the arsenal of Ukrainian democracy.
South Korean defense companies are already fully prepared to manufacture and supply a range of essential products and equipment to Ukraine. As they say, there just wasn't an excuse. But Comrade Soap Bubble Kim Jong-un kindly provided one.
Receipts. Do you like doggies, Willies? When the stoves are like this, do you like doggies?
By trying to plug the gaps in equipment and manpower with the help of backward North Korea, Moscow has opened Pandora's box, and soon the Russian occupiers will find out for themselves that Hyundai can produce not only good, comfortable cars, but also excellent machines for destroying Russians. And by the way, with comfort as well.
The K-2 will have a whole extensive range of truly decisive advantages over North Korean vehicles. This tank truly incorporates the best solutions from the world's leading tank schools. Here we have both active and dynamic protection, composite armor, a radar and electronic warfare station, a gun with smart munitions, the capability for beyond line-of-sight firing, and an advanced fire control system. The K-2 didn't become the most expensive tank in the world for nothing.
South Korea will act swiftly, because a military alliance between two dictatorial regimes is a direct threat to their existence. For those who don't know, the DPRK is analogous to the LPR and DPR. North Korea is entirely a creation of the Soviet Union. The first leader of the DPRK, Kim Il-sung, was a citizen of the USSR and an officer in the Soviet army. After him, the next dictator was his son Yuri, better known as Kim Jong-il. They just like the Pushilins, only the Korean version. And Seoul understands Ukraine like no one else, because they share the same enemy. and that enemy has always been in Moscow.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.